presentations. And in just a second, we're going to be joined by our guest speaker today, financial advisor Michael Corgett, who's here today to speak to you about the advantages and differences between a Medicare plan and a Medigap plan, so that you can better prepare for healthcare in your retirement. Before Michael comes on, though, just very quickly would like to remind you that we are not with your company here. We are not endorsed by any specific company. We are an independent group of financial advisors, so please keep that in mind as you're listening along. Next, I'll be entering some links throughout the presentation. They'll pop up above our heads as we speak. If you're watching this on YouTube, they are going to be in the description box. Both links are exactly the same. They're going to guide you to our website. You can book a free 15 or 30 minute block of time with one of our advisors to get started or updated on your retirement planning, or even just cover any questions or concerns you may have about your retirement. Next, you can follow us on YouTube. You can follow us on LinkedIn. We post a lot of content for both active employees and retirees, so we really feel you'd get value out of it if you considered giving us a follow. And with all of that out of the way, we're going to jump right into it now with Michael Corgett.
Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for joining us today. I know I really appreciate it. Today we're going to talk about Medigap, which are essentially Medicare supplemental insurance plans. We'll also talk a little bit about Medicare Advantage, the differences between the two, a lot of the nuances that are part of the Medigap plans, because there are several different plans available to you. The main differences are what they cover and don't cover, and then obviously the cost for each one of those programs. We'll talk a little bit about, the importance of choosing a program, understanding the differences between Medigap, which is also known as Medicare supplemental insurance plans, and Medicare Advantage plans, and then just bottom line, making sure you have an overall plan which includes these coverages, but looking at the bigger picture as far as your overall retirement plans. So let's go ahead and dive right in. As you know, there are 14 million current Medicare beneficiaries that are currently enrolled in Medigap insurance policies, and that's growing literally every day. There are upwards of 10,000 to 12,000 baby boomers that are turning 65 every day of this year, of next year, of last year. So a lot more baby boomers every day are becoming eligible for Medicare, and then therefore need to look at whether they should sign up for a Medigap plan or a Medicare Advantage plan. What is Medigap coverage? Okay, and how does it work? Well, Medicare covers hospitalization, surgery, doctor's visits, some skilled nursing care, and so on. It doesn't cover dental or vision or long-term care. The Medicare will pay those approved charges, and then the Medigap plan will help to cover the differences, and it provides you with the excess coverage that you are going to want, because the expenses of Medicare are significant. There is a doctor's visit deductible of $257 a year, a hospital deductible of Medicare that's over $1,600 a year, and then there is coinsurance. Medicare covers the bulk, but there is a percentage that Medicare does not cover that you will have to pay out of pocket. Don't want to oversimplify it, but this is the basics as far as making sure you understand what Medicare covers, and then how Medigap or Medicare Advantage plans can help you long term. Pretty much just touched on all this. Medigap is extra insurance that you buy. You pay for it. You're going to want to get started with something like this immediately upon signing up for Medicare. One of the benefits of getting started on a Medigap policy right at age 65 is there is no underwriting. So you're not limited on pre-existing conditions. You automatically will get accepted by an insurance carrier for your Medigap policies, and you won't have to worry about pre-existing conditions. What doesn't it cover? I mentioned a few of these already: long-term care, vision, hearing aids, eyeglasses, private duty nursing. These are things that Medicare does not cover, and Medigap plans do not cover these things as well. So moving on. Gaps in original Medicare Part A may be supplemented with these with Medigap plans. Some of the things that Medigap covers, like the hospital deductibles and co-insurance payments to limit your out-of-pocket, hospital services beyond 150 days. And there are people, trust me, that wind up spending a lot of time in the hospital. There is a per day hospital deductible and a per day expense for hospital coverages, and eventually you have to pay for everything. So that Medigap can help pay for that as well. Some skilled nursing care that is beyond a hospital stay for up to 100 days per spell or illness, and so on. Excuse me. What the gaps in Medicare Part B coverages that may be supplemented by Medigap insurance. Medigap Part B is known as the coverage for doctor's visits, ambulance services, and so on. Part B deductible, there is an annual deductible that I mentioned, and the Medigap could cover that. The 20% co-insurance can be covered as well, up to the out-of-pocket limits, and a thing called balance billing. Medicare has approved charges. Okay, they are typically a lot less than what the hospital or the doctor's office or whatever surgical facility might bill. Now, most of those facilities will accept what Medicare pays, but not everyone. There are doctors that will what's called balance bill you for a difference, and your Medigap plan can cover those things as well, depending on what kind of plan that you have. Again, just things to consider. There are 10 different Medigap plans. Here is a chart. You can get this same chart off of the Medicare website, as well as contacting United Healthcare or Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield, Humana or Cigna. Those are several of the insurance companies that offer Medigap plans as well as Medicare Advantage plans. The best plans for coverage are typically plans F and G. They will cover and they have benefits in all the categories listed here on this comparison page, but they also cost the most. And so if you're in good health, you might consider a plan that has lesser coverages. You may be willing to roll the dice as far as the costs of your Medicare hospital deductibles and doctor's visits and co-insurance and so forth. I do have a comparison chart here in the presentation as well that we will review here momentarily. Long-term benefits of Medigap, well, it does protect you against many of the high costs of coverage, period. The out-of-pocket expenses that are not covered by Medicare. It provides you with stability over time. Again, knowing that you've got both Medicare and a Medigap or a Medicare Advantage plan to help offset the expenses that Medicare does not cover is very, very important. And I know this personally because a lot of my clients, I work with them on a lot of different things, including what they ought to consider when it comes to Medigap and or Medicare Advantage plan coverages. The more lucrative coverages are, or more comprehensive, I should say, coverages are Plan C, F if it's eligible, which is really a limited, but Plan G, which is really literally the best plan. Plans that provide good coverage for a little less money are the alphabet letters D and N, and then plans that provide some sensible coverages C, D, F, G, and N. Okay, as I mentioned, Medigap plans Part 2, plans that are saving $1 with a high deductible, again, F, G, K, and L, and so on. So again, when you talk with a Medigap insurance company, and I mentioned a few already, they will provide you with options, the alphabet options that they offer. So you could get great coverage, you could get good coverage, you could get average coverage, but you're definitely going to want to consider something. It's very important. I strongly recommend to my clients, especially if they can afford it, to get a plan that is much more comprehensive and covers many of the things that Medicare does not cover. But again, too, it has to be affordable to you. A Medicare plan comparison here. By the way, if you're interested, we're always happy to send you the slide presentation. But you see here some of the key features that each one of these plans does cover or does not cover. And again, the most comprehensive plans are plans F and G, and then they move down from there. Medigap versus Medicare Advantage. There is a difference. Medigap is an insurance policy with an insurance company. It does provide you with coverage that you will have that will supplement what Medicare does not cover. Medicare Advantage is a Medicare replacement program. You are essentially signing up with an insurance company, many of which I've already mentioned, and the Advantage plan becomes your Medicare. Now, Medicare Advantage plans are sometimes referred to as HMOs. Most of these carriers have very comprehensive networks of doctors, hospitals, and surgical facilities, and pharmacies, and so forth. Okay, so more than likely, your doctor and your hospital will be in a Medicare Advantage plan, but you'll want to check because they may not be. Because again, the Advantage plan becomes your Medicare. Typically, Advantage plans are less expensive. And in many cases, employers and insurance companies, like I mentioned, United Healthcare, Anthem, Blue Cross and Blue Shield, Humana, and Cigna, just to name a few, have Advantage plans that will not cost you anything or a very limited dollar amount out of pocket. It is an option that many people have considered and do consider. I have a lot of clients that use Advantage plans. They are obviously less expensive. They do offer very comprehensive coverage. Many Medicare Advantage plans offer coverages for hearing aids and for vision and gym memberships. These are many of the things that these plans can offer on a limited basis, things that Medicare and Medigap plans do not cover. I mentioned original Medicare enrollees. It's only available for those that have original Medicare. All right, so you have to be signed up for Medicare. They don't overlap. You can't have a Medigap plan and a Medicare Advantage plan. You have one or the other, and you do have the flexibility to switch between a Medigap program and a Medicare Advantage program. You can literally do this every year if you want to. But I do want to point out that there is something that you do need to be aware of. I mentioned Medigap coverages. If you sign up for them when you originally go on Medicare, you are automatically enrolled. You don't have to worry about providing insurability, answering medical questions. It's automatic. There's no pre-existing conditions. If you use a Medicare Advantage, but you come disenchanted with their programs and want to go back to a Medigap, you will have to answer medical questions. You will be underwritten, and you could potentially be rated or declined. So please keep that in mind. If you are unhealthy, it may make sense to just join a Medigap plan and stick with it. Hopefully you can afford it, or you may just consider a lesser benefit program that, as you could see with the alphabet table, the 10 different plans that we offered, there are a lot of different options that are available to you. All right, here's just a list of some of the key differences between the two. Foreign travel, that's a big deal. Medigap plans do cover foreign travel. Most Medicare Advantage plans do not cover you outside of the United States. Both of them provide predictable coverages, but Medigap is, I believe, to be more considerate and continuous type of coverage. You don't have surprises. Doctors and hospitals move in and out of Medicare Advantage networks. You don't want to be surprised from year A to year B that you go see your doctor, and they're no longer in the plan, and you have to pay that bill out of your own pocket. How to buy? Well, obviously you have to be eligible for Medicare. You decide which plan you want. They are very standardized, as I showed you earlier. In most states, they have the plans A through M. Compare the benefits and sign up for a policy. You pick your program. The price is going to be based on the differences in the policies, as well as, in some cases, geographic areas, as well as your age. Contact the company, get an official quote, and sign up. And then you're insured. You'll pay a monthly premium. You'll also be paying your Part B insurance premium for Medicare. This slide here gives you a very good idea of what Medigap coverage is, or what the plans cost on average. As you can see, there is a range of prices here, and that is somewhat based on areas of the country as well as your age. I mentioned the plan G plans are typically the most expensive, but some are even more expensive depending on what is covered and what is not covered. So when you contact an insurance company, and I guarantee when you come close to 65, you will be overwhelmed with phone calls. And you will get phone calls every year when Medicare, basically when these plans can be renewed on an annual basis. A lot of carriers, you will also see a lot of advertisements on TV. So you will get a lot of ideas. You will have a lot of places to go. There are agents that specifically only do this for a living. That's it. They provide Medigap and Medicare Advantage plans to clients. So keep all those things in mind. And how do they set prices? Well, I mentioned a few of these already. Community rated premiums can be based on age as well as area. These premiums do fluctuate, and they do go up, just like all other insurance premiums. So you could count on that as well. So I've talked a lot about Medicare supplemental or Medigap plans, a little bit about Medicare Advantage. I could talk a lot more about this. I know I've got a great knowledge about it, and I look forward to talking with my clients as well as new opportunities. But what's important overall is make sure that you have an overall retirement plan, and your Medigap coverages are a part of that overall plan. It is an out-of-pocket expense. You want to be able to make sure that you can afford it. We here at the Retirement Group believe in planning. We're happy to offer a complimentary cash flow analysis to show you what your overall retirement looks like. The sooner that you get started with this planning, the better off you're going to be. We're definitely have a lot of experience. We've got teams and advisors all over the United States. I personally am based here in the Midwest, and we've got a tremendous knowledge of many, many, many Fortune 500 companies, their benefits, their pensions, their 401ks. So please reach out to us. Give us a call, send us an email. You can scan this QR code here on the left and schedule a meeting with myself or one of my colleagues. Scan the code on the right and follow us on LinkedIn. We've got a great LinkedIn page. Definitely hope this has been helpful. I know I've said a lot and I've said it quickly, but we would look forward to talking with you one-on-one to help provide you with some guidance and advice on this, as well as many of the other things that go into your overall retirement plan. I want to thank you for your time. Have a great day. Goodbye.